right, joining us now with the very latest on the resignation of Attorney General Sessions, the election, and, of course, well, poor Jim Acosta. Anyway, Fox News chief intelligence correspondent. First on, we get a report from our friend Catherine Herridge on Sessions. What's going on, Catherine?
That's right, Sean. This morning, White House Chief of Staff John Kelly asked Attorney General Jeff Sessions to resign, and the news went public after the president's news conference. A source close to the administration told Fox that Whitaker is well liked by the president and not seen as an FBI or Justice Department insider who came up through the ranks with special counsel Robert Mueller, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, and others. Whitaker, who was Sessions' chief of staff at the Justice Department and is now Rosenstein's boss, is already under scrutiny tonight for tweets and an op-ed he wrote last year about a red line he said special counsel Mueller should not cross. Quote, "It does not take a lawyer or even a former federal prosecutor like myself to conclude that investigating Donald Trump's finances or his family's finances falls completely outside of the realm of his 2016 campaign that goes beyond the scope of the appointment of the special counsel." Behind the scenes, Whitaker was described to Fox News as a quiet advocate for the declassification of the Russia records, which include the surveillance warrant renewal for a Trump campaign aide approved by Rosenstein in 2017. The president recently backed away from the declassification, but today seemed to indicate it is back on track.
Well, we're looking at that. No, we're looking at that very seriously. Declassification, we're looking at very seriously.
Okay, can I ask one more question?
It's amazing how people on the other side just don't want those documents declassified. But no, we're looking at that very carefully. I certainly wanted to wait till after the midterms.
Before last night's vote, a source close to the Russia congressional probe told Fox that they believe the White House would move quickly on the Justice Department's shakeup if Republicans expanded their Senate majority, virtually guaranteeing a relatively smooth confirmation for the president's choice to ultimately lead the department. Sean.
All right, Catherine Herridge in our Washington bureau tonight. Thank you. Here with reaction, author of the bestseller Trump's America, The Truth About Our Nation's Great Comeback, Fox News contributor, former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. The year you became Speaker, first time Republicans won in 40 years, Bill Clinton, between the House and the Senate, he lost, 52 House seats, 8 Senate seats. Obama, in 2010, lost 6 Senate seats, but a whopping 63 House seats. I would say, by historical standards, the president picking up all these seats in the Senate is a spectacular win for the president and some of the most heavily financed races. Your thoughts?
Well, I think that's right. I think, first of all, if you look at the average between Obama, Clinton, and Trump, Trump clearly did dramatically better, almost twice as well. And when you add in gaining seats in the Senate, which, given the nature of the 2020 Senate elections, probably means the Republicans now will be in a majority in all probability through 2022 or later. Very much different than what the Democrats hoped for. Some very big wins, some places where it was very hard fought. Florida, for example, remarkable outcome, both for governor and for senator. And on the House side, I think the first real break point was when 43 Republican House members decided that they would retire this year, which I think is the largest number in modern history. That gave them a tremendous number of openings to try to defend. And what you really saw, and I wrote my newsletter today about this, is you really saw a green wave of money. If you look at Texas, for example, where I think Beto O'Rourke will have spent over $70 million losing a U.S. Senate seat. And everywhere you turned around the country, particularly in House races, you were seeing enormous numbers of money coming in, whether it was from Bloomberg writing million-dollar checks, other people, various organizations. I think one of the hidden stories that will come out in the next 2 or 3 weeks is the sheer scale of this green wave that was seeking to drown the Republican Party and defeat the president.
You know, the amazing thing is though you ended up getting Clinton to change, and we balanced the budget for the first time. No, well, listen, I remember you guys doing that town hall. You're sitting on these little seats one day, and but we did balance the budget. We made real progress. There was a lot of give and take in that. Is Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, Adam Schiff, Gerald Nadler, are they capable of doing what Clinton did, which I think easily helped him get reelected 2 years later?
You know, I don't know. I thought earlier today that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had a great interview, and he said to him something which I can reflect on because I was there, and that is that the politics of investigation may make your partisans happy, but may turn off a lot of people. I think the president clearly is going to reach out on things like infrastructure. He's going to reach out on some practical common sense steps on health care, including lowering the cost of drugs. I think he's going to try to find issues that make it very hard for the Democrats to say no. And then we'll see whether or not they are so rabid. And certainly the left wing of the Democratic Party is much more rabid than anything that either Clinton or I had to deal with in the 90s.
What's your reaction
it'll be interesting to see how it develops.
What's your reaction to Jeff Sessions' announcement today? Because I couldn't believe when he recused himself. If he had any thought that he would do this, I thought he would have owed the president at least the courtesy or the heads up, hey, I may have to recuse here. And we know the result of all of that. And I know now they're trying to go after the interim attorney general. But I think for a president not to have an attorney general on the most important case that he wanted in his administration has been very harmful.
Well, first of all, I think it was handled exactly right. It's the day after all the election. I think that the chief of staff, John Kelly, did the right thing. And an immediate response, knowing it was coming, the attorney general did the right thing in resigning. I will say, just for a minute, if I could, Sean, I've known Jeff Sessions for a long time. He was a very solid conservative in the Senate. He actually helped organize the first Trump campaign meeting in Washington, and it has been sad to see him have to go through all this. And I suspect he's a very relieved guy tonight.
I've always known him to be a good man. I agree with you. This was not the right position, and it was it worked out, I think, just better for everybody at this point. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much.